Hi, this is Dr. MJ coming to you from beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. This is the Women in Dentistry podcast, where we feature women in dentistry making waves and leading the industry through the next decade. I am your host, Dr. Mary Jane Hanlon, a former dental assistant, dental hygienist, and now dentist. I am very pleased to introduce you today to Miss Whitney DiFoggio. Whitney is a dedicated dental health communicator known for her influential presence on social media. She's known as the Teeth Talk Girl. As a registered dental hygienist, she holds a bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Illinois, Chicago, and a master's degree in health communication from Arizona State University. Currently, she is pursuing her doctorate in health science at Eastern Virginia Medical School. Whitney is passionate about spreading dental health awareness. Her journey began on the YouTube platform, youtube.com, Teeth Talk, where she continues to create dental health information videos. She also shares dental health content on her website, teethtalk.com. In addition, she works part-time as a clinical dental hygienist, is always excited to talk teeth with her patients. It is now my pleasure to bring you to my interview with Whitney DiFoggio.
Hey everyone, it's Dr. MJ with you today and the Women in Dentistry podcast. I am so pleased to introduce you to Whitney DiFoggio. And Whitney is the creator of Teeth Talk Girl. So I think a few of you will know who she is and recognize her by her face. But maybe she'll do a dance for us later. I don't know, Whitney, you and I didn't talk about this, but I love all the Instagram posts that you do. I'm thrilled that you're with the show today. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
Well, we really appreciate it. So I know that you got into dentistry a while ago, and I am dying to hear your story. How did you get into dentistry?
Yeah, so it's been 7 years now as a dental hygienist, and like almost 9 years. 2 years before that, I was a dental assistant. So been in the dental world for a little bit. So first, like long story short, I got my undergrad. You don't have to make it short.
I mean, everybody's interested in how people got into dentistry. So it's really good.
Well, thank you. I always laugh. People are always like, Whitney, you say long story short, and then it's never short. So I feel like that's just a phrase I say. That's funny. No, yeah, I always thought I wanted to be a dentist. So I did my undergrad in biology and chemistry. So I have a bachelor in biology and chemistry. And when it was time to apply to dental school, I didn't do it. I was nervous. Mostly because where I went to school, it was really awesome how I went to UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago. So they had us do observing hours for pre-dental club. So, which was great. I'm so happy they had us do that, or else I don't think this would be the path I'm on, because every time we were observing the dentists and doing things, I would always catch myself watching the hygienist. Like I was like, ooh, really? There's just something about the dynamic of preventative. I loved hearing how hygienists were talking about preventing everything versus I love dentistry. I think it's amazing that you could restore and fix things, but I just was so fascinated. I guess growing up, I never realized how important prevention was. I always just thought in my mind, I want to be a dentist. I want to be a dentist. And I started really just noticing, I don't know. I had this like inkling that I don't know if dental school is for me. So I applied to dental hygiene school instead. I never took the DAT or anything. I was just like, let's just go to dental hygiene school, see what happens. I told myself, you know what, you can always do dental school after. Let's just do this first, see what happens. Fell in love with it. Yeah, never looked back. I was obsessed with dental hygiene school. I was like, this is for me. I love this. I'm obsessed. So after I graduated from dental hygiene school, I am one of the few classes I graduated where you still had to wait for your dental hygiene license to arrive in the mail, like the US Post Office mail. Yeah. Now they get it like an email, like pretty quick. I think it still takes some time, but I like took a long time. It was months and months. And so every day I was working as a dental assistant at the time. And every day I was checking my mailbox, like, do I have this license yet? Because my boss told me, once you get your license, we can start giving you hygiene patients. And I was like, I don't have it yet. And I remember catching myself, I was assisting on a root canal, and I was like telling the patient about flossing. Like, I was just so excited to talk about prevention. And I remember noticing that clearly that was not the time to be talking about prevention. This person just needed to do the root canal, get in and out. And that's when I laughed. And that's kind of when my YouTube channel started. When I realized I am just waiting for my dental hygiene license. I am talking to patients who are just not interested in dental hygiene at this moment because they need to get their things done that they're here for. And so, yeah, I started, I made my first YouTube video in that interim while waiting. And it was just,
really?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You knew then that you were going to do that?
I guess I didn't really know. I think I just put it out there because I need to get that energy out. Like the patient education part was just I loved that part. And I was just, yeah. So I just made the video, and I thought maybe my mom will watch, like I'll send it to a few friends. And then all of a sudden it kind of like a lot of people watched, and I was like, oh, people actually care about dental hygiene. So then more and more people are commenting and saying, make a video about this. Like they were giving me things they want to know. And yeah, and I just got out of dental hygiene school. So I felt like textbook answers were in my mind very clearly. And so, just like, what's the difference between plaque and tartar? I've always wanted to know. People just asking really simple things that I was like, I can answer that and I'll make that really fun. And I just feel like at heart, I guess there's another angle to the story that I almost wanted to be an actor too. So there's like an entertainment component in my just persona. So I tried to make it fun. I didn't want to be boring, like plaque is blah, 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 blah. So I tried to make it like fun. Like, this is plaque. Like, I don't know. So that's how it all started.
You absolutely capture that when you do your Instagram post, because
Thank you.
They're so engaging. And I think that's why, people just follow you, because you are so engaging and down to earth and just a normal human being who's having.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm all about that, because like some people strive to be normal, right? And I always strive to be myself, and I don't know if that's normal, but I think being yourself is normal. So that's the whole thing. Yeah, it's wild. So I was just happy. I was like, wow, people are watching. But then when I got my dental hygiene license, kind of didn't make any more videos because I was working like 6 days a week. I was ready to like work, and I was working and like long out, like more hours than I probably should have, because that you could burn out real fast working six days. Like I was doing 10-hour days for a while. Like I was doing a lot of, I loved it though. But yeah, I started burning out. So then I didn't do 6 days a week. Then it was a whole long journey into finding the balance, and then of just working. I wasn't even making videos. And then I started realizing I kind of miss making those videos, because like as cool as it is to talk to 8 to 12 people, depending on how many patients I see a day, one-on-one in the op, which is such a cool experience. I was like, I could talk to like hundreds of people at that time, hundreds of people every day, like, and now it's like unbelievable how many people a day. So I don't know how it happened, but somehow I was like, you know what, maybe I should make videos every now and then. So kind of had like a couple years, a video here and there, no like consistency, just because it was, and then all of a sudden it just like became like, I started this community, just became like a community. There were my teeth talk people, like they're awesome. The teeth talk community, whether they're dental professionals or just people that are really teeth enthusiasts. Some people are really, really focused like wellness and healthcare, and a lot of people just care about, as a dentist, like there's some patients that really want to know what's best for their teeth. And I think that's like an awesome group I have. And then now I have this like group of the community that very anxious patients, people that are in anxiety, like they're very nervous to go to the dentist. So kind of have like certain videos for that group. And I just feel like we all come together and we help each other. And there's just something about the YouTube community. I love it. I'm so happy I'm doing it. So now I do that full time, and I work part-time clinically. So like, I don't know, somehow we made the switch, and I love it.
So how long did you work full-time?
Good question. I should get my timeline straight, because I just never know. When you're like, I don't know what I did. I think it was 3-ish years full-time.
So now you're down to 1 or 2 days a week?
Yeah, 2. Like, having said that, now that it's so ever since I love the videos, that's like my passion, right? On YouTube. But ever since 2 years ago, so then it was like a couple years doing the videos, and then I started a website. So it's teethtalkgirl.com. That's where you can find all my videos in article form. So that started, I'm so happy for that, because, what kind of drove me to start that is, like WebMD or healthline.com, right? Like where people are Googling, if they have, during the pandemic in 2020 is when it really, I was like, okay, this is, so a lot of people Google things about their teeth, right? And I started realizing like, not necessarily looking on YouTube to get information. So I wanted to put all the information in article form as well. So if someone's Googling, I don't know, why is my tongue itchy? Maybe I can write an article about that and like help someone out, you know? The thing is like WebMD and stuff, they don't even have a drop-down menu for dental health. So I was like, dentistry is so important. And like, I don't understand. So I was like, let's make a whole website that one day hopefully will be the WebMD for teeth. I don't know. So that's what I'm like really doing full time right now, still building that out and making all my videos into article form. And I love it. It's teeth all day, right? It's just different platforms.
Well,
exactly.
You're still in the profession and you're serving the profession and you're serving patients, which I think, you know, when we're talking about providing care for patients, you know, it is important to still have, you know, hands-on experiences, right, on a regular basis, because
100%.
I think every single time I saw a patient, I actually learned something, because, you know, everybody is so different. And you know, there's no standard prescription for people, and there's no standard prescription for dentistry. We have the parameters that we can abide by, but for, you know, every day, oh, this is something that's never happened before.
There's always something new. Yes,
exactly. So I love that aspect about dentistry because it challenges you daily.
100%. And my days when I'm clinically in the op, I feel like I'm constantly, my boss always laughs. She's like, are you writing down ideas for videos? I'm like, yeah. I'm going to do my notes, do my video. Cause like after you talk with a patient, you're like, wow, that would be a great video. I never thought about it. So it's so cool. Like not only the community online gives me ideas, but the patients it's just such a cool, like collaborative thing. And we're all helping each other. That's like my biggest thing is I really believe in like the power of just, we all are paying it forward and we're all like, maybe I know a little bit about teeth, but someone else knows a little bit about this and that. And I just feel like if that's my knowledge, I want to put it out there, you know?
Yeah, that's great. So you have been doing this, say, the last 3 years, and you're loving what you're doing, and you're still working part-time. So now I know your story. So let me start asking you some questions. So who has given you the best piece of advice in your profession, and why? Who was it, and what was it?
You know what's funny? You said in your profession, so I don't know if I'm answering totally, but I guess it's in my profession. So I would say honestly, my husband and brother-in-law, they are the most supportive. I think the advice they gave me. Okay, so when I was making videos and then it started becoming more full-time, I started getting more and more, I guess, professional of a persona, which is good. I am professional, but I started getting more serious, I guess, not professional, serious, because I really wanted to get this information out there. And they both told me like, you know, obviously that's great, but like, you should be you like, be yourself. Like, you don't, just because like you're growing and getting bigger doesn't mean you need to start getting serious. Like you could still be goofy because you are goofy. Like they know me. They're like, you're like trying to be serious. I was like, you know. So there was like a section in the Teeth Talk history where some of my videos are very serious. And then, because I was always goofing in the serious couple months, and then they just said, be yourself. And I was like, you know what, you're right. What am I trying to prove? Like, I know myself. Like, I just want to get this information, like be myself. Like the fun of it is being myself. So I think that was the best advice. And I know it's kind of silly to hear, be yourself. Everyone says be yourself, but like it just hit me in the right moment when someone says it to you at the right time. And they both really were like, yeah, it was just, be yourself.
Well, you are an extremely engaging personality. I can't imagine you being serious.
I'm a very good actress. No, I'm not a good actor. But yeah, it was like acting, right? I was putting on like serious Whitney, a pretend persona. And I didn't love those couple months. So yeah, be yourself. Because you would still be really professional and goofy. I believe that at the same time. 100%. So that's, I've so much easier when you don't put pressure on yourself to be someone else.
I agree with you 100%. And good for your brother-in-law and husband to give you that feedback, because so often people don't provide feedback to you, even though they really want to tell you, because they're afraid of hurting your feelings. And
totally.
You can't be afraid of hurting your feelings. You know, I mean, that's the thing. You know, you just can't be.
Yeah. No. constructive criticism
is very good for us. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
So
Totally.
of the people that have had an impact on your life, who do you think has had the biggest impact?
Like there's so many, right? Like, but I really do believe my family and friends are the number one most, not only because they're my family and friends, but because in a lot of my videos, we do a lot of skits and acting, and my friends are so nice to be like, hey, you want to come over and I'm going to give you some lines to say, and we're going to film some video. Like they're so supportive. They do not have to say yes. Like, you know, I could, like, luckily I do have friends that are actors too. And so like, you know, actors want the gig, but sometimes the actors are busy, and my friends, I feel, have all become actors. They are all, I literally, like, if I need an actor for a skit, like all of my friends are equally good at this point. I'm like, this is amazing. They all like learned so much from just me forcing them. I feel horrible. I feel like I forced, but no, now it's fun. So I really need to thank all of my friends and family that have, whatever they've done, they're so supportive to just like let me do what I want to do and like support it and not say, ew, I'm not going to say that line for you. It's just, it's really cool when they play the patients, or they let me clean their teeth and film it. Like all these cool things awesome. That they've, yes. And so it's really, I want to say everyone who's helped me with the videos has made the most impact, and of course my bosses, I work at 2 offices, to let me use the offices. Like, so this is my studio. I don't know if you're going to see this in the podcast, but there's a studio behind me. I'm in like an extra bedroom of my house. So yes, so this is just like a room in my house. And this helps for whenever I need to do, like, you know, I do my regular YouTube informative videos just to have a nice background, but I obviously don't have air or water or compressor or anything. So I can't do real things. Like I'm not going to do anything real in here. So it's just for show. So when I need to do real things, of course I go to my work, and they are so supportive to let me just go and use their office. And it's just, I'm just so thankful for everyone in my life that is accepting me for who I am.
I think it's outstanding, and you have been blessed, which is great. How about obstacles in your life? Have you had any obstacles that you've had to overcome?
You know, I feel like one of the obstacles was before dental hygiene school. I just say this one first because it was like, I think it gave me grit to get through everything I'm doing. My undergrad in biology and chemistry was like so hard. It was the hardest years of my life. It was like dark years. If anyone went to UIC who's listening to this for biology and chemistry, it's just a hard concrete jungle of Chicago miserableness. So anyway, I just feel like it gave me so much. I was so proud to finish my undergrad. And I think that obstacle made me realize, do what you want to do, like go try dental hygiene school. Because I kept thinking, oh, you know, I've been working, let's study for the DAT, and I just was like, how do you do something that like makes you happy for a second, you know? So I think that obstacle was a good big one. The second obstacle is, so I mentioned my husband and brother-in-law. We the website teethtalker.com, the 3 of us are the founders together. So I do obviously the content. My brother-in-law does the digital marketing, and my husband does the business with sponsorships and things like that. So working with family, right? Like there's family and friends. That was an obstacle to kind of draw that line. You know, it's one thing to like make the fun videos with friends and family and like, here, say a script, do fun things, but this is like real business every day.
Business.
And it gets like, you know, family parties, like to make sure we don't talk about business. Like it's just making that was an obstacle. That took us a solid like couple of years. And we've only been doing it for 3 years. So I think we just recently got over that hump, and I'm sure there's going to be another one to get over. And that's a big obstacle, working with family and friends sometimes too, as much as I love it.
Right. And you know, every business has its growing pains. I can absolutely attest to that. And so, you know, you would not be quote unquote normal if you didn't have growing pains. So, and every business does, it doesn't matter, you know, and if you can get by the 5-year mark, then you have a solid foundation and you'll be fine. And I have no doubt you'll get there. So,
which is awesome. Thank you so much. Cause yeah, it's one of those things, like it's how you grow. It's not what happens, but it's how you get through it. Right.
It is how you get through it. And the choices you make along the way, obviously impact everything that you do. But there's no reason why you can't pivot, right? Even if you make the wrong choice. Okay, going back to the drawing board, I got to pivot and start all over again. And, you know, it's that perseverance, I think, more than anything else in life. You don't have to be a brainiac. You just have to stick to the plan and do it without compromise, because I think that that's what drive and determination, grit, like you said earlier, is the thing that really separates those people that become successful from those that don't, because people are choosing not to do those things when they should.
Totally. Physics was not my expertise. I hated physics. It was hard for me. And, you know, I was like, I thought I'm just doing biology and chemistry, but obviously you need to take all the science to get the degree in that.
Right.
And yeah, and you got to like get through the hard things to do what you love. Right. And I feel the same thing with the working with family and friends. Like, now that we like got through like making those boundaries and like talking about things here and there, like it's so awesome. Like I wouldn't want it any other way to work with those two, because like it's how cool, right? To like work with the two people you trust the most and like really are your favorite people to hang out with too, you know? So it's so cool.
That is great. That is great. Now, when you reflect back, do you think that you were confident as a young woman, or do you think that you've developed that confidence as you've matured?
I saw a comedian said this once and I was like, oh, good, I'm not alone. I think I was always just like silly and naive. I didn't even think about being confident. I think I just thought, oh yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We're going to just do it. Like I never even, I think I was, I don't know. I don't think I had the right frame of mind to even worry about confidence. Is that strange to say? I never thought about what people were thinking. Not until I started like getting bigger and seeing that people, you said as a younger kid, so I'm answering this as an older adult. But either way, I feel like definitely, even as a younger kid, I never worried about anything. I was never worried about confidence in a good way. But now,
that is an awesome thing.
However, recently something changed, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I never worried. I was always just like whatever. But lately, I worry more, so I need to figure that out. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this group? What is this group? Like I try to just make everyone feel comfortable. And yeah, I've become I've always been a people pleaser. But long story short, I don't know why I never worried about what people thought of me until recently. So now I'm trying to figure that one out. I think it's just you get more and more comments. And you get more and more, like the larger you grow, the more people say things. And there are things I didn't even think of. And I'm like, oh, shoot, people, I don't know what I'm saying. Does that make sense? I don't even know.
No, but I get what you're saying, because I think that someone must have said something that knocked you a little bit off kilter. And
I guess.
And if that's the case, then you've got to figure out, okay, how do I deal with this? And I think, you know, the audience loves this piece of my talking to other women is, you know, we all have that little area in our brain that doesn't think that we're good enough ever. And I think that comes from just being female. I mean, I see it with my grandchildren. You know, I look at how my grandson is treated versus how my granddaughter is treated. You know, we're constantly saying, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so adorable, blah, blah, blah. And it's all about the looks. And I have to really think twice about that, because I want her to be smart. I want her to be self-assured. I don't think she's going to have any problem, because apples don't fall from trees, and her mom's she's a kick-ass. So I don't think she has too much to worry about. But I do think about it, because I do realize that even though I know, I think that we still instill that with boys and girls, where, and I can obviously see very drastic differences where my granddaughter doesn't want to have anybody feed her. She wants to do everything herself. My grandson, he wouldn't eat if you didn't feed him. I mean, totally can't put his clothes on. You know, she's 18 months and she knows she went poo-poo in her diaper, where my grandson, it took him forever. So, you know, it's nothing against either child. It's just the way the nature of the species, right? So, yeah. And I think that when we get knocked off balance like this, I think it makes more sense for us to just ground ourselves by going back and saying, you know what? Who cares?
Who cares?
In the big scheme of things, who cares?
Totally, because I never cared. And I literally would say,
you need to reset and go back.
I need to go back to wherever I was, because I think I was just naive. Most people care because most people like think, and I just never thought, I guess. But yeah, that's a good example though. Yes, people I get all the time. So my persona online is Teeth Talk Girl. I'm very proud to be a girl. I like being a girl. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. I do get comments often. well, she's just a girl talking about like, no, I'm a dental hygienist. Like I'm a professional healthcare provider. Like so it just, yeah, I get those comments all the time about this is just a girl.
So
yes, I'm a TikTok girl.
I'm going to share a piece of advice with you. So hopefully this will help you. Anybody that's trying to drag somebody else down that's successful is because they're not successful and they're jealous.
Right.
So just totally ignore them. Let it.
Totally.
I always told my staff, Tamar will laugh at this because Tamar, just be like a duck. Let it roll off your back. It's like water rolling off a duck's back. You just got to ignore it and just move on, because people are going to come for your throat. The bigger that you get, the unfortunate part of that is that people do try to attack you and make you feel less than what you are. So in the hygiene profession, who inspires you now?
Ooh, Kara RDH. Kara, Kara, Kara RDH. She has today's RDH. She's been the biggest inspiration for me to see that we are more than just a dental hygienist, right? You can create something huge, and she did. And I saw her really help pioneer that movement in the dental hygiene industry, that you can do what you love and it can be a real thing. It's not just a silly fun hobby, which it's fine if it's a silly fun hobby as well. Like that's awesome. But if you want to create something else with whatever you're doing, like she really inspired me, and she's given me great advice, and I really am honored to even know her.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, kudos to her, because I have always felt very strongly that, it's important for all of us to help people behind us. And if somebody comes to me for help, I would never say no, because I feel like it's too important. You always have to reach back and carry the ones behind you forward, because if you don't, it's just not good enough for the profession.
Totally.
It's not good enough for your life.
Yeah, we're like, that's the whole thing. We're all in this together. And gosh, yes, she's giving me such good advice. And it's so good. So thankful.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Have you had an aha moment, like a really significant moment in your life where you said, oh my God, this is exactly what I was meant to do?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good question. I feel like every day kind of, but then kind of not. Like I feel like this whole journey, everyone says this journey, but it's true, this journey has been a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes they're like, this is exactly what I should be doing, and then there's other days where I'm like, what am I doing? So I feel like I don't know, I feel like sometimes things just feel so right when I'm filming like videos and I'm saying certain things. I'm like, gosh, I hope this gets through to someone. I hope this helps someone. And I think those are my biggest aha moments, when it feels like it lines up, and when I do get the comments, because I read the comments because they're very, very valuable to read. Because some people tell me like things like, I haven't been to the dentist in 10 years. You inspired me. I just called and made an appointment. I'm like, this is right. This is perfect. Those types of things just make me, or wow, I've been flossing wrong my whole life. Thanks for this video. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so awesome that someone just watched a video and now they're flossing correctly, which I just, things like that, really, those are ahas.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're making a difference. And I think that fulfills our purpose of being, right? And makes us feel better.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, for sure. Like that's the whole reason I'm doing, like, right? Like I mean, yes, it's fun. I love getting my energy out and doing it, but like in the grand scheme, like at the end of the day, it's like, I hope this really helps someone,
Yeah. Well, you can tell you're very high energy.
It's in my blood.
It's good. Even high energy people have stress. So what's your favorite way to deal with stress?
Yoga.
Very good. Very
100%.
good.
I'm not like amazing or anything, but like I'm okay. I'm pretty flexible. But that's the whole thing. It's a practice. You don't have to be the best yogi there is. You could just do it every day and feel good about yourself. That's what I love about yoga. You're not trying to impress anybody. You don't even have to impress yourself. Just breathe. Oh, so good. I love yoga. I recommend it to everyone.
Now, do you practice every day?
I do, every single day. If there's a day I have to miss for some reason, I'll at least do some type of meditation stretch before I go to sleep. Like if I didn't get to do like a float session, but yeah, I just have to.
Good for you. Good for you. And do you make meditation a part of your daily practice?
I've been trying to get into it. Every book you read, that's what you got to do. And I try, but that's definitely not an everyday thing. There'll be weeks where I do it every day, and then there's like months where I don't do it at all. So meditating, I would love. That's definitely a good goal to try to get a little better at.
Well, yeah, I try to, but it's not a set routine yet.
It's hard.
But I do know that from a health perspective, as you get older, as you whatever, mature, I don't know. I don't pay any attention to that stuff anyway. So, but I do know that it does have significant impact on our body and our nervous system and our brain and our neural pathways. So for me, yeah, exactly. It is all connected. And for me, going into, my next decade, I want to make sure that I stay really healthy and bright and smart and on top of things, so that to me has become a major focus. I'm not perfect at it yet, but it is becoming better.
That's good. I like, yeah, same.
Yeah. All right.
Totally.
What about a personal motto or a mantra that you live by? Do you have one?
Now, since we were talking about yoga, I think the first thing that goes into my mind is I do a lot of Peloton yoga on the app, whatever. And so I don't even have a Peloton bike, but I have the Peloton app to do yoga. Anyway, yeah, if anyone's listening that does Peloton, there's this one girl, Kristen McGee, and I'm sure she got it from somewhere, or maybe she originated it. I don't know. But she says it every time. She says, make loose fists with your hands, bow, and remind yourself that everything you could possibly ever want, have, or need is right here inside of you. And I love that ending of yoga, because I'm always like, you're right. Everything we need is right here. It just makes me feel good. So I say that all the time to myself.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'll have to. What's her name? Christy McGee?
Kristen McGee. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I don't know. Maybe she just says it from another quote. I don't know if but I just think of her every time I say it. She's an amazing yoga instructor. And she also
awesome.
She's very into like musicals and Broadway. So like my little acting background, like I really just connect with her.
Very good. There's a lot of really good people on there. Okay, What about a guilty pleasure or a secret dream? Let's fast forward. You've made $1 gazillion on your TikTok app, and you have a secret dream or a guilty pleasure. What would it be?
Oh, that's funny. Before you said fast forward, my mind went right to, my guilty pleasure is sugar. Us dental, we're not supposed to like sugar. But no, if we were fast forward, but it's all about moderation, right? You can't. Yeah, fast forward, my guilty pleasure. What would I want to do if I'm just, I love going to the beach. I can live on the beach. I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure, but I literally would be living a glorious life if I could just me and my computer, write my scripts all day on the beach, go in and film, go outside, eat dinner on the beach. I don't know if that's guilty, but I could live on a beach. I love a beach. I would love that in my life. I'm from Chicago, so we have the lakes, but it's like 2 months of the year that it's actually warm enough to go to the beach. But I have a dream. From the East Coast,
day we've had so far this year is today, and it's 60 degrees, and I'm still inside.
I have my little heater on me, and I think it's like 60, but it's still just so damp and cold. It's just not. Yeah. It's not no California. Yeah, that's a dream too, to live in California one day. I love California, but until then, yeah, I guess sugar is my quick answer. I love sugar. It's so bad. Like I love.
And long term is the beach.
In the long term, the beach, but I don't know if it's guilty, but I'm guilty as charged if liking the beach is guilty.
It's fine. What piece of advice would you share for anyone that may be thinking about a dental hygiene career? Or, much like you, I don't know if you know this or not, but I was a hygienist before I went to dental school. And, I always knew I wanted to be a dentist, and I didn't have the confidence to apply at the time. So I went to hygiene school, practiced 15 years, and finally said, okay, should I get off the pot? Let's do this and go to school. And I finally did. So what would you share with a younger woman that's trying to make a decision about going into the dental profession?
I think don't freak out is my advice, because I'm like I was always freaking out. Like, am I making this decision? Am I making the right choice? I'm just going to do dental hygiene school. We'll see what happens. Like, that's how it worked. And it worked out for me. Thank goodness. But I think that's the point of that story is it's going to work out. You'll figure it out. Don't freak out over your decision. If you feel like you like it, then do it. Like, I get a lot of hygienists DMing me on Instagram saying, or thinking to be hygienists. Like, am I making the right decision? Should I do nursing? Should I do, and I get it. That's a very hard thing. You don't know you're going to be a nurse or a dental hygienist, but like, I think just like, you have to really find it from within. Like, what do you think you'll like, like, and if you go to dental hygiene school and you want to be a nurse later, then you could do that. Or if you go to nursing and you want to be a hygienist, like, I don't know. I just feel like time is definitely on our side. We all have enough years, hopefully, to like switch things up.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you have to be a nurse for the rest of your life, or you have to be like, you could change it up. So just do what you feel that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good advice, but
no, it is. It is.
I feel like I give myself so much anxiety over a decision that's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, when I make the decision, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad. So I just feel like, try to just breathe and do what you think's best. It'll all work out.
It does. It usually does. Always your heart. If you listen to your heart will lead you in the right direction. And I will say that I think listeners may have heard this in another podcast, but one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was as a 14-year-old girl from my mom. And when I came home one day and I said I wanted to be a dentist, she said, well, don't you think that you should go and see what it's like first before you make that decision, because it's a lot of years of school. And I took that to heart, and I went out and I got a dental assisting job after school. And I was the kid that was teaching everybody how to brush their teeth in the orthodontist office downtown. And so for me,
awesome.
That was a great piece of advice, and something we can share with the listeners that reins in on what you're saying, because I think that it's important. If you're having a hard time making the decision, go and experience it first.
Totally.
Even if you have to do it for no pay, see what it's like, help out, figure out if you like, the blood and gore, because there is some blood associated with the profession.
Yeah, totally. And that's why I'm so happy my undergrad, even though I was saying how those were my darkest years, it was really hard for me. It was just a hard time in life for me. But when they had us do those observing hours, that changed. I was like, this is great. I'm in the office. I'm seeing what I'm doing all this physics for. Like, it was just very cool to, I always say, submerge yourself if you can.
I agree. That's a good one. Okay.
I agree with you.
What would be something that people would be surprised to know about you?
It's so funny. When I go to work, she always says, you're so quiet. Like, you're so quiet. Like, I'm very, no, I think that is what people would be surprised. I'm sure a lot of people could relate. Like, you're always more like comfortable and loud when you're with your best friends, right? And right. Like, I do feel, and they're always like, how are you like that on a camera? But like, when you're with one-on-one with a patient in the op, you kind of like, you're like, hi, my name's Whitney. Like, I'm going to be your hygienist. Like, I'm kind of like soft spoken. I don't know. It's just how I feel comfortable like that. Like, I'm comfortable. I'm not like shy, but in a sense, I'm just way more quiet than you would assume. But my answer to that is yes, I'm the same as everyone else. Or like, when you don't know someone, I mean, some people are very outgoing, and I am outgoing once I know you, but I do feel I'm a little quiet usually, unless I'm like talking to my camera, because I'm used to my camera. That's what my boss always asks. She's like, how are you so quiet here? But when you get on that camera, you're like, hello. I'm like, that's why, because the camera is, I know who I'm talking to. It's my teeth talking to me. Like, we're friends now. You know what I mean? But I just feel like one-on-one, sometimes I'm kind of quiet, and I don't know why. It's very odd. Who knows? I warm up. Takes me time.
That's right. That's right. All right. So I am out of questions, but I do want to end the show with a special shout out to a dental assisting school where I share some friends with you. And we want to say hi to Tamar and Heather and Nicole and Jill. Anything you want to share with your girls over there?
Yes, I want to say hello to all of you and thank you for hooking this up here, because this is amazing. I'm so happy to be in this position. And also, I think all the assisting students there are the coolest people. I did a Zoom with them once, and they were so awesome. They were like supportive, and like we did the Zoom, we were talking, and I just wish you all the best because you were all awesome. And thank you for supporting me. And I hope I could support you. We're just all on this journey together. And I'm just so happy to know you guys virtually and maybe one day in person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Whitney, for being with us today. We cannot thank you enough. It was a great interview and we really appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to the Women in Dentistry podcast with Dr. MJ Hanlon. If you like our show and want to know more about us, check out our website, thewomenindentistry.com, or please leave us a review on iTunes. Join us for our next episode as we bring you another amazing woman leading the way for the next generation.